Hello, everybody, and welcome to another week of Darf Talks. I'm your host, Darf Mike. As always, you can find me on Twitter at Darf Mike. And this week, I've got a special guest on tap for you. I've also got the echoing of the stream going on. Fortunately, I didn't unmute my desktop yet. But I'm going to be bringing you Chad Oderus Miller. So say hello to the lovely people, Oderus.
What up? What up?
How you doing, man?
I'm doing good.
So, for anyone who's not aware, this is Oderus. He is the two-time frag leader of the Mountain Dew League, current player for Blackout. His teammates are Connor93, Wrath, Seb, and a fifth who may be changing. Previously mainline, now John G. Maybe a
Yep.
point of discussion for this interview.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
so how you feeling today?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. Just happy to be here.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. First of all, I guess this is one thing I always like to ask people. It's always interesting in the esports scene. Where'd the name come from?
The name came from, so my dad is a really big metal fan, and there's a band called GOATer, and
Mm-hmm.
the lead singer is Oderus, and it's like he's like considered the devil. So I'm not really good with names. So I was like, and my dog's name's Oderus, so I was like, might as well go with Oderus. So
So your dog's name, the lead singer of a band, and
yeah,
your name now.
yeah. So I just
Sometimes when someone shouts for your dog, do you get a little confused and react
Yeah,
to it?
that happens all the time. My dad will scream at my dog, and I'll just open my door and be like, "I'm playing a game." He's like, "Not you. I'm literally not talking to you." I'm like,
So your parents haven't started calling you by your in-game name yet.
"No, they haven't."
Probably a good sign.
Yeah.
Um, so when did you start playing CS? How did you get involved?
I think it was sophomore year, like probably sophomore summer of high school. Like
Mm-hmm.
I I used to play Call of Duty on the console, and my dad used to, like, I've known about Counter-Strike since I was like 7 or 8. My dad used to play Counter-Strike like all the time. Like every single day he'd wake up before work, he'd be playing Counter-Strike. So I used to watch him and everything. So I've known about it, and like I used to play like zombies on Counter-Strike Source.
Mm-hmm.
So I've just known about it, and my dad had a gaming computer, and I started just going around just playing Call of Duty on my PC, and I used to play with my friends, and they're like, "Do you have this game Counter Strike?" And I was like, "I have it on my dad's Steam account." So I downloaded it and I started playing it.
Okay. And when did you start playing competitive like League CS?
It was probably like eight 8 months, 8 months, maybe a year. Like I think I started junior year, and
Mm-hmm.
got I started an open. I just got instantly hooked. Like it was it was insane. I thought it was just something way different that I've ever played. So.
What is it do you think about that competitive aspect, that organized league structure that really hooked you and drew you in?
I'm not sure. Like, it's just there's every time like I'm playing, I don't know. It just really there's no other game like this. Like, Call of Duty, it really gets old. Like, there's not a big skill gap, especially like if you're a console player. So, from playing Counter Strike, I started just knowing that you can get super super good, and when I just started playing, and I knew I was straight ass, and obviously I wanted to get better at the game, so I just got really addicted to just wanting to get better and just wanting to outplay people, and that's
Mm-hmm.
just like what just really keeps me going. I just want to beat everyone.
Well, we're certainly glad you do.
Yeah,
So just to sort of go into this season, you started out this ESEA season, this Mountain Dew League season, playing with the team who at the time were called the Pioneers.
yeah.
Where'd that name come from?
I don't. I think we were just sitting there and we were just giving off names, and I'm pretty sure Connor just he started saying like the Pioneers Clan or something something like that. And we just went with the Pioneers. Like we just first thing that popped in our head, we said, all right, let's do it. And then we typed up the Pioneers on Google Images and found a Minecraft logo, and then we started using that as our logo.
Minecraft logo, eh?
Yeah,
All right. What was so this was a non-move up season. So coming into the season, you'd been playing. You were actually with Blackout last season as well, right?
yeah.
Uh, and then they were trying to build a team around a proto, and there was change and differences there. And what was sort of your mentality coming into this season? It's not a move up, but it's still
Well,
the Mountain Dew League.
when I was playing with Blackout, like with Imstan, old team,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't sign with them at all because I just felt like I don't know. I knew I wasn't going to be staying on the team for much longer, so I was talking to a couple of teams already, like, and so Gramps messaged me saying like, let's create a team. Then that's when Connor and Twice and all of us joined. So at the beginning of the season, like we instantly, I don't want to. We knew that we were going to be changing players, like even at the start of the season, because this
Mm-hmm.
is not a move up season. So we were like, all right, let's try to get our full five lineup, and after 8 matches, and we'll just try to learn. It's basically for money. So we were just like, let's try to make playoffs. Let's just try to win money at this point. So it wasn't obviously we wanted to get better, but then mid-season came and we had a full like roster change. So we just had to try to play as many matches as possible, but we had to use Gramps as a ringer like for like 3 or 4 matches because Seb was still contracted. So we just when it became like mid-season, we're just like, let's just try to make playoffs and see if we can make some money.
Yeah. So was I mean, it sounds like kind of the mentality going in was you're creating a new team. Part of it's almost like figuring out what that team's gonna look like, right?
Yeah, we when we were doing qualifiers with our main five at the start, and
Mm-hmm.
well, not our main five because Mecca had a job, so we used Marky, and that's when we had that dream hacker run to the grand finals or whatever, and we were we beat Complexity United and played against Rogue or whatever, and we got to the finals, but we lost. So we're like, this is looking really good for the team. Like we're gonna be nuts. But then Marky went with a different team, so we were using Mecca, and we didn't get to practice much because Mecca has work and stuff, so we only practiced probably like 2 days out of the week. So it wasn't it's just rough.
Now you and Maka played together quite a bit over the seasons. Sort
Yeah,
of a
that's my duo.
yeah, a duo there. What's that relationship like?
He's just he's definitely he's like a mentor towards me. Like he's
Mm-hmm.
a really smart player. I like I like playing with people I understand their styles of like how they play. Like a lot of MDL teams have a lot of MDL teams play the same. Like exactly how they play. They're going to be doing the same thing every time. But when you get a couple players that understand their like have their own style and how to play, that's why I really liked him because I understood like he had his own style and how to lurk or like
Mm-hmm.
he just knew the right timings and stuff, and that's just every single time I played with him, I don't know, I just felt like I knew me and him just knew what to do off of each other. That's why we played together for so long.
Is it almost a comfort thing as well? Like you get that used to somebody, you're
Yeah,
comfortable
like
playing around them.
yeah, at a point like I didn't want to join a team without him. He didn't want to join a team without me because we just knew how each other played and we knew that we were really good playing off each other.
And what changed that you decided to move beyond each other or play on different squads or?
Um, well, since we didn't get to practice much and the season coming up, we're like, this is a big season because,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be pro move up. So we want to get as much practice in as possible. So Connor didn't agree with his play style because
Mm-hmm.
he just thought it was baiting, but like I disagreed with it because I know how his play style and he's really good at clutching and
Mm-hmm.
just doing stuff on his own. But so it's just like those two things. Like, we just wanted to practice mainly more, so we just had to go with someone else.
Okay. So talking more about this season, coming into the season, you guys had a pretty strong run. I mean, early on, it was relatively strong. You drop a few maps, but most of your losses wound up being to eventual playoff teams. I think you were wound up being at the halfway point. You were like 7-5 when you actually got picked up by Blackout,
Yeah.
and then that advanced to 9-5, and there were a couple more losses. So, talking about sort of that org pickup process, the process of you guys signing with Blackout and becoming the Blackout team. Since you played for Blackout before, even if you hadn't signed contracts, was there sort of relationship that existed?
Yeah, definitely. Nathan, the co-owner of Blackout, he really liked me. Like we
Mm-hmm.
were we were talking before I was leaving or before the playoffs, saying like he's like he wanted to make a team around me. He was like saying like, who do you think's a good player? Like, who are good players? Like, if you would join a team, like, who would you get? And he was talking about like, if you could play with anyone on this team, who would you cut? Who would you not cut? And I was basically saying like, I don't want to play with any of these guys. So I was like, basically, I'm going to go to a different team. But like, I like the org. Like, they're a really good org, and they communicate really well. So
Hmm.
I was just trying to keep in touch to them and let them know what was going on through the whole season, basically.
Now, did they sort of reach out to you? You said you were keeping in touch with them. Did they reach out to you, or did you sort of keep up with them in terms of being interested in pursuing organizational support?
Um, well, when we started, when I joined the Pioneers, we were talking a little bit, but then Mainline and all of us
Hmm.
joined, and I stopped talking to him. Like, Nathan started talking to them because I'm not the captain, so they started talking about like salary wise and everything and what's going on, and we stopped talking for a little bit. I wasn't sure what was
Hmm.
going on. I wasn't sure if we were gonna go to Frag or get signed or whatever, and we were just talking to different orgs, and I know Black Guy was trying to sign a F1 race car peak, and something didn't go down with that. So I think, but there was like a communicate, like they wanted to sign us, but something happened and everyone got confused. But then we cleared it up, and they're like, okay, we're down to sign you, and let's do it.
Okay. So was that sort of before they made their forays towards Vision? Is it was it kind of
Uh,
weird to like they tried to sign that F1 race car peak roster and then came back to you
well,
guys or?
I probably didn't talk to him for about a month after that point. So
Hmm.
I think it was after they signed Vision got signed. I think they wanted a team to go to Tulsa and play. So they were like, yeah, we'll sign you guys. We want you guys to play for us.
Okay. And so then going into the second half of the season, after you signed with Blackout, you have a really good second half of the season. The only team you dropped a map to, I think, was Dignitas, which
Yeah, I think so.
Dignitas regular season was unreal.
Yeah, definitely.
It was a 16-1, but you
Yeah,
guys
it
end
was.
this. Yeah. Do you want to talk a little bit about like playing in a 16-1? What that feels like, where that
Um,
where that winds up being?
it's we okay. So like probably we were playing qualifiers for like 2 or 3 weeks straight. Like we
Mm-hmm.
had so we just picked up. We picked up Seb mainline Ras. So we instantly just started playing qualifiers because we want to try to make stuff. But after it starts hurting after a while because you don't have we're pugging maps at like we're just pugging like we don't have any strats, we don't have any
Mm-hmm.
defaults or reactions on what to do. So we're basically just going off of you know our gut feelings on how to play, and it works against lower tier teams. But when you start playing against players that know what to do and counter stuff, and if you're just a pug, it's going to be hard to counter. And I'm not like 2 days, no, one day before we went over Mirage, we had everything down. We knew what we wanted to do. We dry run, we did everything, and we like, oh no, it was a shit show of like 1v x's, 2v x's. Like
Mm-hmm.
we get a lot of rounds where we have like one or two players up, and uh we get like really excited because we like especially me and Colin and I, or Wrath and I are really hard fraggers. So like if I get a pick, like I just like something, I just want to keep going for more. But in like our whole team's the problem or whatever. So we that's basically what happened in the Dignitas match. Like first gun round, we had a 1v2, we lost that. Just like basically the whole time we just had kept getting reset, and then when you get to that 9-1 mark or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
you have to get rounds on the board. So that was our mentality. So we just kept forcing. Hopefully we could get like 3 or 4 rounds, but turned out not. We couldn't.
Yeah.
So they basically just got demolished. Like I didn't feel like they outplayed us at all. Like it's just another top MDL team, but
Yeah.
they just their reactions were better than ours.
Okay. Sometimes you get outgunned. What's
Yep.
the so the whole season wraps and you guys are 10-6, and now there were four 10-6 teams, and due to the tiebreaker rules, the head-to-head and the round win tiebreaker rules, which to be entirely honest, I'm still only vaguely understand. Uh,
I didn't even care. Like right after we went 10-6, I said if we make it, we make it. If we don't, we don't. I don't. It's whatever. Like I
yeah.
wasn't keeping up. I wasn't paying attention.
Was that is that frustrating to
It was
be
definitely
right on the door? Sorry.
yeah, my bad. It was really frustrating we because we lost to Vision, I think 10-6, and
Mm-hmm.
since we were going through mid roster changes, we lost to these shit teams Uh, but our scheduler, we forget to ban, and our insta bans are Inferno, but we played like Inferno like 5 or 6 times this season because we just kept not banning. So we played, but there's no reason we should lose to Prospects or Vikings on Inferno. Like just like they're not good. Like we should easily be able to beat them even with a pug. But
Mm.
like I'm not. It's not an excuse. Like, but it was so frustrating to know that we could have easily made playoffs because we had a pretty easy schedule like at the like mid-season. But after playing like we had a double header and we knew we had to play Dignitas and um, 46 and 2
Mm-hmm.
to make playoffs. Like we wanted to go 2-0 and we had to play Team Dignitas first and we got demolished by them. So and we're like basically right after all of us were quiet in TeamSpeak. And, we had to play another match and it's hard to reset after getting 16-1. So, but
Yeah.
after that, we just had to play 46 and 2 on Inferno, and it was just like we can't make playoffs, so might as well have fun for the last game, and we just did our own thing.
So, I mean, I kind of wanted to ask about that. You hinted at it with the midseason roster changes. There were two sort of outliers when I was looking back over your season. Two matches where most of your losses, it was like, okay, this is a good team. Like, this is a playoff team. This is a team that was right on the corner of playoffs. The,
Yeah,
the two exceptions were the Vikings team and Subtle.
yeah,
Um, Now, the Vikings, I think, were a better team than their record. So, but it's still, it was a game that normally you guys should have taken.
yeah,
Subtle struggled this season.
definitely.
So what happened? What happened there?
Well, we were comfortable on cash, but
Mm-hmm.
man, did we? I think yeah, we played with Gramps. We played with Gramps on that day because we were talking to Seb for right after he got removed from Ghost, we knew instantly that we were gonna pick him up and he's gonna play for us. But we have to wait for the contract to end,
Mm-hmm.
and so we would be practicing with Seb, and then when game times come, we would hit up Gramps and say, "Yo, we have a match right now. Are you able to play?" He'd be like, "Yeah." So it's it's not that I don't know. We just got fucked on. Like we just like nothing was there,
Mm-hmm.
nothing at all. Like, it wasn't. They just outplayed us. Like I don't know. It's just like the whole time we're like playing not to win.
Mm.
We're just playing to play.
So kind of almost like throwaway maps.
Yeah, it's I don't know. Like our when you want a player like we have a full team and we can't play with the teammates yet. It's just like
Mm-hmm.
let's keep playing. Well, like we should be able to beat these players, but like it's just you know they practice. Like I can't get mad at them for beating us. Like they definitely play better than us, and just you just have to move on.
Now, so again, a season where you get right on the precipice of playoffs, where you get right to the door, doesn't quite work out. What lessons are you taking away from this season in general, both as a player and as a team as Blackout?
We wanna we don't like dry run and do everything like since we've been doing qualifiers. Like we told our org wants us, like we gotta do qualifiers for our org. Obviously we want to do qualifiers, but it's
Mm-hmm.
gonna hurt us. So we talked to the org. We're like, yo, let us practice. Let's get everything down as a 5, so we're ready to play. And we we just I think it's just learning how I've been playing with Connor for like 2 or 3 months right now, and
Mm-hmm.
we just they've been in pro. They know what it takes. They tell us every single day how much it takes to go pro. And after our Tulsa loss, like we head back to the Airbnb, and he's like, we sat down as a team. We're like basically said we're being lazy. Like we need to practice. Like we need to dry running and going over shit's like the most boring stuff in the world. But you need to if you want to become a better team, you definitely need to do that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So we just we just need to like actually focus and practice and everything.
For you personally as a player, I mean, you've spent 2 seasons at the very top of MDL in terms of raw player potential, stats, frags, that whole
Yeah,
craziness. This was a bit more of a struggle for you.
yeah.
What do you think changed in the team, or what do you think caused that sort of change for you as a player?
Well, on Ghost Academy, we uh we didn't have any strats. We were just all
Hmm.
five of us were just super unique players, and just shot up's aim was incredible. Jason's aim, Neptune's aim was like just amazing. Like all of us just really clicked, and so basically, when you have five players that can just basically out aim everyone, like any player can pop off at any moment. So it's just like a lot of weight off my shoulders. So I could run around with my op, and if I die and give them a 4v5, I can trust my teammates to win that round. So it's just when coming to the Pioneers, Connor said, he says, Oder, Chad, do what you want. We'll play
Hmm.
off of you. But I feel like I'm like growing as a player. Like a lot of you can't go against a pro team and they're gonna be able to, you can't get aggressive every single round, and that's definitely my play style. I like to get aggressive. I like to fight. Like I like every single round I want to do something different. I want to peek a different angle. I just want to fight. And if you play against a pro team, they're gonna be able to counter that and know how you play. And
Hmm.
I just think there's you just gotta start like I just started learning, I just got to calm down, and I got to be able to switch my styles instantly. So if a team's shutting me down when I'm going for picks, I need to learn how to just be able to calm down, sit back, and wait for them to come to me. And that's what I'm trying to start doing right now.
Okay. And okay, so gearing up for the next season, right? Next season to move up season. This season was a lot of growing pains for you guys as a team, figuring out your fifth, figuring out. I mean, speaking of figuring out your fifth, you've just made a fifth swap. Mainline's off the team, off the roster, and you've brought in Janji
Yeah.
at the moment. So talk to me a little bit about what motivated that change for you for the
Um.
squad.
Well, Mike, when like probably I think it was before Tulsa, like he he's a support player for us. Like he throws a lot of nades and utility. He's a really smart player. Like we liked him, but he stepped down because I think he thinks he can't do it anymore because
Mm-hmm.
to to play an MD, like his aim's good on some days, but he's a really inconsistent aimer. But he's a really smart player. That's why I like playing with him. But like he was like, if I don't step it up and like by the end of the month or whatever, I'm probably going to be stepping down, or right before playoffs. So after Dignitas, or well, right after our 46-2 game, we basically said, good game, like let's practice for frag next week. So we leave, and I'm pretty sure he messaged Connor saying like he's just he doesn't want to play anymore. So
Okay.
right after that, we were looking for new players, and Johnji hit us up, and Johnji's a good aimer, smart player, and he's a really he's a good entry fragger. So it's definitely gonna be good for our team. I think we have some really solid aimers and like smart players. So I think it's gonna be really good for us.
Okay. I mean, you're. I mean, obviously you're a team with incredible skill, right?
Yeah.
You've got, as we touched on earlier, you've got players with a lot of pro league experience. You've got, you know, incredible aim and wrath. You've got Connor. You've got. I mean, this is a very skilled roster. Not to, not even mentioning yourself. Um, do you think that there's going to be even a bit of a mentality switch? I mean, obviously because you've found more stability, but just in the seriousness with which you take the season, with which you approach games.
It should definitely be more serious because this season coming in, like they were all just pro last season, right? So they're like,
Mm-hmm.
this is gonna be a fucking sweep, MDL's fucking ass right now, like so we're just gonna wipe everyone. And after losing these matches and to these players that we're not supposed to lose to, they realize that, and I realize that because I get cocky also, and we're gonna definitely be serious, especially since it's a pro league season. We have all the time in the world to practice and learn, and
Mm-hmm.
now we won't be doing any more roster changes. We just have to learn about Jonji at this point and understand how he plays, and hopefully he can adapt to our play. So
At this point, so you're saying like you guys have a ton of time to practice. Are you all full time CS?
um I know Connor has a job, but we have like a normal practice schedule. It's from like 8 East to like 11 or 12, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. And is that
But
like an
we like
everyday thing, like a weekday
yeah,
thing?
basically a weekday from Sunday through Thursday.
Okay.
And if
Pretty
there's a
intense.
qualifier, we do that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So now I want to talk a little bit about well, specifically Tokyo and Tulsa, the local land, the traveling to land. Obviously, Tokyo and Tulsa, we were both at. It was fun to watch you get to play on land. First time I'd seen you play on land since Frag 11.
Yeah.
So that was fun. Talk to me a little bit about your experience as a player at the event.
So, first day it's a normal day, but our mentality going into it, like everyone's asked, like we're gonna play against Vision in the finals. Like it was just a fact. Like we knew AZO was there, but they I don't know. I'm not sure if they're LAN players or not. They weren't doing so well on LAN. I mean
Mm.
online. So wanted to. We knew that we were just basically gonna play Vision in the finals. So it was like a sweep until Vision.
Well, I don't know. A little team by the name of Jurassic Cock gave you guys some pause.
Was that on Mirage?
That was yeah, that was Mirage. That was the one
Yeah,
that went to
yeah,
like
yeah,
16, 14.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. Like when we were playing, like I don't know. I feel like we didn't get outplayed. They were just headshotting everyone except Colin and I, because we were dropping bombs. Like I felt like it was just a normal pug team. And then I'd be looking at the score and I'm like, yo, we're about to lose to 16-14. Like we had to take a site with CZs, and it was definitely scary. Like when we were down 15-14, I'm like, dude, I cannot believe this is happening. Like
CZ
I'm
Rush.
freaking. Oh man, I was freaking out. Like they're like, oh, like it, and our comms were like, yeah. Have you ever watched like Call of Duty players, like when they're calming like in pro games?
Oh yeah.
That's exactly what it was like. Like even like Wrath is a really quiet person, and even he was like, we were just all of us were screaming, and for about like 45 seconds we couldn't hear a thing. So that was basically the whole LAN, the whole time. Like it was just I don't know. But it was a lot of pressure on those guys.
Yeah. That's it was chaotic to watch. I think I was casting that match, and
Yeah.
we thought Jurassic Cock was gonna beat you guys and knock you into the
For
lower
we
bracket.
Yeah, I was. We basically blocked that game out like right after like like,
Just
it's like
forgot about it.
it's the first day. Yeah, well, I didn't forget it. I was like, I dropped like 45 kills. I'm going home and I'm gonna be watching that game. Like I don't care. I was popping off, so I went home and started watching it. But they had some rough games and rounds, rough games. So we were just like, let's forget about it. Let's just go into the second day, understanding, playing better.
Yeah, and then I mean in semis, I think it was semis. Yeah, semis. You guys matched up against AZO. I mean, you destroyed Midwest CS:GO in the quarters before that, but that's honestly expected. AZO was the next tough competition. They're another MDL team. They were feeling really prepared for the event. I mean, they'd just come from the team house, which was close by, so they'd been playing together, scrimming together. Honestly, they were. Having spoken to them beforehand, they were pretty confident going into the matchup. They felt good. They felt like they could outplay you guys. They felt like they could be more coordinated than you guys. And to be quite frank, you kind of destroyed them. Uh, what do you think about that matchup? Just allowed you to really take the reins from the get go and just sort of
Well,
rule it.
we scrimmed them. I think probably like 2 days before that online on Dust 2. So when we were going to land, we're like, we're gonna be playing AZ on Dust 2, and they kept taking a long from us basically in the scrum every single round, and we got demolished on it. So they're like, yeah, they're definitely gonna be choosing Dust 2. So the first map was Dust 2, I'm pretty sure, and
Mm-hmm.
we talked about it. We're like, listen, we just got to use our utility right on a long, and they won't fall back to anything, and they didn't take a long like at all the whole time. Like they just like stopped doing it. I guess maybe they forgot like they demolished us on in the scrim, but then mainline picked up the op and he just started popping off. He was just
That's
peeking mid,
ridiculous.
screaming. I was like, I
He
don't
was
know what's
getting
going on.
loud.
Yeah, it was crazy, and I was like, all right, let it happen. Like I'm not gonna if Mike's feeling it, I'm not gonna tell him not to keep going, because when op's on fire, you just want to let him keep going.
Yeah. I mean, you were starting to feel it too. I mean, mainline. It was weird seeing mainline be the biggest op presence in a map. It was just
Yeah.
insane. He was hitting everything.
Well, he was saying like when he was offing him in, he's like, "That's how you fucking do it, Chad." I'm like, "Okay, like my job's to go along and hold cat. I don't know what to tell you, but it was good. And on overpass, I think it was a close game, like maybe 16-10, 16-11, but
Yeah.
I don't know, we had like 7 or 8 rounds on T side, and our overpass is like one of our favorite maps to play because
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I feel like they just we were just really good on overpass. So after I don't remember much from the game, but it was just trying to take fights and trades and just taking the game.
I mean, you were all above a. I mean, you were all positive. You were all above a 1.0 rating. I mean, it was pretty dominant. It honestly, from a spectator point of view, it felt like after you guys had that really dominant run on Dust 2, and you started just getting really loud, you got inside Aezio's heads, and it was sort of a shutdown from there out. The finals with Vision was a terrific series. I mean,
Yeah, it was probably like I don't want to say it's the most intense game of my life, but it was definitely intense and it was seriously so fun to play.
what do you? I mean, going into that, how did you feel about matching up against Vision?
We were definitely confident. We well, Mike said after he was screaming to Azio for like 2 hours basically. So he's like, right before a game, he's like, man, I'm so tired. Like I need some food and like, he's like, I used all my energy, but we were confident because we play what were the maps? It was Nuke, Overpass, and Rosh. So we play all three of those maps. So we definitely thought the vetoes went in our
Mm-hmm.
favor, and we're really good on those maps. So we were definitely confident going into it.
It was. I mean, it was really close. I mean, it was back and
Yeah,
forth. Nuke, they sort of took in hand. Quinn with that XM by the squeaky door
yeah,
is
yeah,
ridiculous, as he's already shown in the MDL finals
yeah.
as well, in the playoffs. Um, if you want to see a rematch of that game, I'm guessing Nuke will be played again. That's going to be happening at 9:30 after this.
Wait, is
Um,
the finals tonight?
it is. I'm pretty sure HLTV thinks
Wow.
so.
Wait, who's playing?
Vision and
Bravada?
Bravado.
That's
Yeah,
that's gonna be a good game.
9:30. That will be a good game. But right now we're talking about another great game, which that whole series was excellent. And then it went to Mirage,
Yeah.
which wound up being a 16-14 full 30 rounds.
Wait. Are you talking about the second map was Overpass?
Second map was Overpass. You guys won
Yeah.
Overpass,
Yeah.
16-14. That was, yeah, right. Nuke, then Overpass, and then the final was on Mirage.
Yeah.
That was a crazy close series.
It was insane because Wrath was just like it was insane watching him play. Like he was just making highlights after highlights.
He was, I mean, I'm looking at this now, looking at this after the fact. He was 15 kills ahead of the next closest person. He was 84 and 62 over the series.
Yeah. It was incredible. Like after we lost, I felt like I let him down like so much. Like, he's a really quiet player, and like right after, I'm like, I'm so sorry, Colin. Like I wish I've done better, and like we just gotta learn. And he's like, it's okay, Chad. Like it's all about learning. And I'm like, wow, dude. Like this, he's gonna make me cry, bro. Like I feel like I let you down, and you're just comforting me.
That was, I mean, it was incredible to watch as a spectator. It was
Yeah.
incredible. I mean, it was really one of those rounds of CS where, at a certain point, you just sit back and enjoy it. And
Yeah.
towards the end, they were just ripping down the walls around us.
Yeah.
Which, as a
It was.
player, could you guys hear that through the soundproof headsets and whatnot? The truck backing
No.
up next to you.
Well. Seb, Connor, and I had a noise canceling, but Colin and mainline didn't. So a lot of the times they couldn't hear what's going on. So it's an intense game. So right as one of us hears something,
Mm-hmm.
or all of us, we start screaming it to let the player know. So Colin, even on overpass, Colin had like an ace clutch. Like he picked up, he got two
Mm-hmm.
CZ kills or whatever, and like he couldn't hear because this was I think this was when everything was still up. I think like they had that VR Star Wars stuff going up, so
Yeah.
we heard players rotating. Like all four of us are screaming, Colin, they're both A, they're both. So we're screaming, and but it wasn't bad for me at least. I'm not sure about
Mm-hmm.
Colin.
So, talking a little bit more generally about the LAN, was that your first time playing on LAN with this team?
Oh yeah, with this team, yeah.
And that's something that having Blackout as an org sort of enabled you guys to do to travel out to Tulsa.
Yeah, definitely. We didn't even know about the line until
Mm-hmm.
they were saying that they wanted us to fly out there and play, and we were down.
Yeah, I mean those local lands. It's a nice little chunk of prize pool, $10,000.
Yeah, definitely. There's no reason not to go to it, especially if you're one of the favorite teams. So if you get first, you definitely be making money out of it.
How much of a difference of an experience is it being able to play on LAN in person with your teammates as opposed to online?
Um, there's just there's a lot more excitement and passion when you're playing online and
Hmm.
in matches, you can block out a lot of emotion. You just don't have to hold your mic down. So when you're playing with these guys online, I mean on land, you see how they're feeling. Like if they lose a clutch, you can support them, or you see how sad they get, and you just feel bad or whatever. But
Hmm.
it's a big difference knowing that how much of a big impact it is.
Now you're gonna get another chance to play on land pretty soon,
Yeah.
exactly next week, at Fragadelphia. Fragadelphia 12 coming up, and you guys are all traveling out to it, right?
Yep.
Complete with new fifth Janji.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, you guys haven't really have you played any officials with Janji yet?
No, not yet. We've done one day of practice with them, but we Seb's internet's down right now, so we keep trying to play. But we're just gonna try to play this weekend, or try to dry run and get them into our strats, and
Hmm.
hopefully do well.
So going into a land setting with a new fifth and getting another chance at land, getting the second land under the belt with this team, what are you sort of looking for? Like, what are you hoping to do at Fragadelphia? What are your expectations?
Um, I would definitely say like semifinals or grand finals. Like if we don't get third or fourth, like anything above that's just bad. Like we got to be make semis or grand finals at least, and I'll be happy with that at least.
I mean, this is not a slouch event. This is a
Oh,
pretty challenging lineup.
yeah, yeah. It's definitely it's gonna be hard, but I love playing good teams on land. It's always fun. But there's a lot of good mixed teams coming, and a lot of MDL teams trying to show up and frag.
Yeah, it's gonna be a bit of a proving grounds in a way.
Yeah,
This is
you
kind
got
of
you got
like it's almost like a petri dish. You're throwing this. I mean, you've got it's a roster that's worked together so far, but now you're throwing a new fifth in there. You're going into a ripe proving grounds.
yeah.
Is it going to be kind of a test case for John G as a new fifth and just the team in general?
I sure. I mean, I hope so. I want if we do well, if we do well at this land, and
Mm-hmm.
we can take a look, and if we play any good teams, we can watch our demos and learn and see. And definitely, we're going to be playing a lot of games at Frag, so we're going to be able to. Hopefully, after Frag, we're going to understand how John G plays, and he's going to understand like what we want, and how he just if he entries good. And
Was it what was that process like of finding John G? Was it have you played with him before, or is he somebody that you've known?
I've known him, since I don't remember what team he was on. I think he was on a team with Ocean, so I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. He talks a lot of shit. I talk a lot of shit, so we'd always just talk shit, like, but none of it we don't mean it or whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
he's always been a good player. He was a really good entry fragger on Rise, and I didn't watch any of Resolute's games, so but I know we know what he's capable of, so
Mm-hmm.
it should he just he hit us up, and we're like, yeah, like there's no reason not to take Jonji.
Okay. So I want to focus a little bit more on you as a player. We're sort of our time's getting short here. I'm not going to keep you too long,
Okay.
but focus a little bit on Oderus, on the GOATerus, as some people know you.
Okay.
Uh, your opping style, based on what I've seen you play and the way I've seen you, I'd say you play with honestly like a lot of swag in your opping. Like it's
Yeah.
very there's aggression. You're not afraid to take faces. You play really aggressive, really frag heavy, but it's also really risk heavy. How would you
Yeah.
sort of define your brand of Counter Strike?
Uh, it's a lot of risk and reward. Like
Mm-hmm.
if I was playing MDO, I played it Premier for a long time, like 8 or 9 seasons now. So after like 4 or 5 seasons, I went from rifling to opping, and it's just like I was so scared of I was just a scared player, and to take fights, and just one season, no one was trying to hit me up to play for another Premier team, and I'm like, but Shanks uh, hit me up, and then I started playing with Floppy, and we had a team, and I was like, like I'm tired of being a mediocre player in Premier, and I want to, show that I actually got something. So I just try to completely change my style, and I just totally got aggressive. But now it's hard to get passive when I'm really aggressive and feeling it, and that hurts our team if I'm too aggressive.
Is that something that you're maybe trying to rein in, put a little bit of
Yeah,
moderation on?
yeah. You kind of, my whole team, like my whole team tells me, I just if I'm not feeling it, I still go aggressive picks because I feel like I can always do it. Like my confidence is always high, but
Mm-hmm.
if I keep getting shut down, there's no reason that I should keep going for it. And a lot of players know my style. They know exactly what I'm gonna do because I'm just so aggressive on how I play. They're just like, Oderus is gonna hold W, just wait for him to peak and hopefully in him. So I'm really trying to just use my get aggressive or passive at the right times.
What is it about your confidence in the server, both, I mean, as a person or as a player, that lets you like really go for that ballsy style?
Um, I think it just started with Ghost Academy when I knew I could do whatever I want, and I used to just not miss with my op, and
Yeah.
I would just say, fuck it, I'm gonna keep doing this no matter what, and it really gave my confidence, and then it if I don't put in the work and I'm not hitting my shots, like my confidence is still high, which is a good and bad thing, but I
Mm-hmm.
think mainly bad because if I'm not putting in the time, I'm gonna be as good as because I feel like I definitely became worse this season, so I'm trying to just deathmatch and watch demos as much as possible before frag, and hopefully I pop off there.
So, okay. In the ideal world for Oderus, in a vacuum, your team is going to be they're faceless human beings who are just going to facilitate the style of play you want to go for. What's your ideal team style? The ideal CS style to facilitate you as a player?
Um, just just a team that works well off of each other. A lot of teams come together and they don't have an in-game leader, they do, and this in-game leader tries
Mm-hmm.
to play the style. But like when you find five guys that just really mesh together and create their own style, but just a team that's able to adapt really fast is what's gonna be like my favorite play style or whatever. You just
Okay.
gotta learn how to play.
Okay. So coming up in your life, you've got Philadelphia, you've got move up season of MDL. What are you most excited for as a player on the horizon?
Um, definitely, definitely the MDL season, like well next season, because
Mm-hmm.
I'm really excited for Frag. I love going to lands and playing, for the weekend. But with a lot of these MDL teams that I've been on, I felt like I'm not good enough to. Well, our team's not good enough to make pro. You really gotta grind, and either you have one player shining, two players shining, but if you don't practice and show up, but with Blackout, all Colin and Connor and Seb and Jonji, they've been at the top. They know how to play together, and I think if we put in our hard work, I'm just excited that hopefully we can make pro league.
Okay. Does it almost feel like it's time? Like you've played a lot of seasons of, as you said, of Premier of Mountain Dew League. Do you feel like it's time for you to move on to
I
Pro League?
I I really hope so because like MDL is just it's like I'm not saying I'm not motivated. Like I always want to win. I always want to. Like, I'm super motivated because every single loss, I fucking tear up and I just want to fucking keep death matching. But
Mm-hmm.
if after you've been in MDL for a lot of seasons, none of your teams have even like gone to first or second place. You tend to think, am I making the right decisions or is it me as a player? And if there's no reason like Blackout, this team, there's
Mm-hmm.
no reason why we shouldn't be able to be one of the top teams in MDL. So if no reason, so if we don't,
I think
I'm not sure.
that's like a good quote though. There's no reason we shouldn't be top.
Yeah.
Do you have any like parting thoughts or shout outs you want to make, thoughts you want to share?
Uh, Shout out to the Go House parents, Darf Mike for letting me do this interview, and Chick-fil-A and the Jewel.
Chick-fil-A and the Jewel. The essentials to a healthy diet. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
It's been a real pleasure. You're a player who I've enjoyed watching for a long time. It's been great to get to pick your brain a little bit about CS and about your future.
Thank you.
I know you say you've been around a long time. You're still a very young player.
Yeah.
I see bright things on the horizon.
I sure hope so.
Yeah, certainly we're going to be following along. Once again, if you've enjoyed this, if you've enjoyed my guest, you can find him on Twitter at OderusCS. Give him a follow. Keep up with his exploits. Keep track of Blackout. Next season, they're going to be a team to watch, a strong team to watch, and a strong team to watch for Philadelphia next week, where I will also be and definitely watching their team and seeing what's going on. So check that out. That's going to be it from us this week. Once again, this has been Darf Talks on the Nerd Street Gamers channel. Feel free to give Nerd Street Gamers a follow at N3RDST Gamers. Give myself a follow at Darf Mike. You can see it. It's like right there. There's the graphic. And check this out next week where we'll be back at 8 p.m. EST on Thursday with somebody else.